Good evening, John. Thanks for having me on tonight. You know, what kind of question was Obama pushing for Olympics a good use of time? Of course it isn't. Well, you know, Obama, he's the rock star, the original rock star. He's just tearing around the world, wanting to tell everybody how great we are, and then how great they are. And the Olympics in the United States, let's look at it from an economic standpoint. Right now, money is very, very tight everywhere in the States. I mean, extremely tight. Obama pushing for Olympics here. Olympics is a revenue negative program. There's nothing about it that's revenue positive. So it isn't like Americans need to have more confidence in themselves. What we need is better revenue streams. Having the Olympics here is not going to help revenue stream whatsoever. It's going to cost money in already a depressed economy. So our thoughts are, why don't we work up a third world country that needs the Olympics, that needs the confidence, that needs something else, and maybe have the rest of the world chip in? What do you think, John?
Well, Bill, I disagree on this one. I don't believe that it's completely revenue negative. In fact, basically no public money is spent directly on the Olympics. Maybe they'll upgrade some infrastructure. That sure won't be bad for Chicago. But actually all the money comes from, let's say, the USOC, which is not taxpayer funded unless you choose to, that little checkbox on your tax return. But it would bring in billions to Chicago. It would bring a lot to the United States.
So John, you're saying the U.S. Olympic Committee are who actually builds all the stadiums?
Yes. There's what happens is that what ends up costing some places when you have a Lake Placid or some small place like that, what they have to do is agree to keep up the facilities after the Olympics have been there.
What about for all the other public transportation, public security, all the other stuff that goes along, like with the Salt Lake Olympic thing? I understand they're like $1 billion in the hole in Salt Lake after the Olympics. Who is actually in the hole when they talk about all the people in the hole for that?
I was under the impression that Salt Lake was not in the red.
I think Mitt Romney came on and he said he did such a great job and they made so much money, but now they have all these hotels, motel, all this other infrastructure they put in and nothing supporting it, so all these big functions, I guess, are going out of business.
Yeah, or maybe that's what I mean. Salt Lake City's not that big. Lake Placid, they want to bring it back. We're not big enough. They need to build 30,000 rooms up here. It can't. We're too small. The Olympics have gotten too big, even for the Winter Olympics. But Chicago's a big city. They can absorb this. I think it would be a good. I don't see a negative of this. But the one thing that a lot of foolishness has been said is when they say, "Well, he should have been back here working on the budget or the deficit or something." I don't think that he was getting drunk on the plane with his wife the whole way and just not doing anything. I also don't think he spends his whole every waking second working on what you and I want him to work on.
Well, that's funny, John, because I've been, a lot of people hear me say I call him a rock star. He lives like a rock star. The election's over. You don't have to keep campaigning day in, day out, day in, day out. Let's get down to the business of work. Being a chief executive doesn't mean you're cruising, smiling, patting, little babies on the head. You get some work done. You sit down. You make some stuff happen. I don't believe any of that's happening. He's just out there, I hate to say it, being a cheerleader, trying to keep everybody's...
Why do you think that nothing's happening? Why do you think that he's not there doing all that stuff?
Because he's not there doing it.
Bill,
he's not there.
Of the last 30 years, what president spent the least amount of time in Washington? That would be George Bush.
Wait, here we go again. You gotta bring up Bush, John.
Bill, you don't have to be there. He's not the one writing the laws. Okay, he has 100 senators, 435 congressmen. They do that all day long. He also has a gigantic staff, a big cabinet, everybody like that. What do you expect Obama to be doing? What's he going to be doing while he's there that he can't do from Air Force One, flying from here to Stockholm or Oslo.
John, in that premise, you could say that about any executive in any company. There's no need for them never to be at the plant. No need for them to ever do their job. They can just call in, call in from the sidelines.
That's right. I think having the Olympics was a good thing. To sit there and gloat over the U.S. not getting the Olympics, that's an embarrassment. That's anti-American.
Not who's gloating over it. What I'm saying is right now we have bigger issues.
Conservatives are gloating over him not getting it. They're happy They're happy that he did not get the Olympics, and they're unhappy that he got the Nobel Peace Prize. Come on, your president gets the Nobel Peace Prize, and you're upset. You don't get the Olympics, and you're happy. Like I say, that's like saying
John,
if
that assumption
if
that
Obama said he liked BLTs, the conservatives would try to ban bacon.
John, you got to separate the talking heads and what's really going on. You got to separate those two programs, right? The talking heads, right? They just get on. They're just shock jocks. They just want to get on and say stupid shit all day long, day in, day out. That's what they want to do.
Okay.
But it comes down to what's really happening, or what's really not happening, John. I heard again on what?
Do you see a bunch of other senators in the Democratic caucus saying, "Hey, you know what? What we really needed in that room was Obama to walk around the room and glad hand people to convince them to go his way"? No, Bill. Nothing's done in the open or anything like that. 99% of this stuff's done behind closed doors in conferences and in committees.
John, here's a guy who ran on the ticket for maximum transparency.
Yeah.
Everybody was going to know everything's going on. Now, was that full of beans? Of course it was. Nobody knows that's but there's a lot of intellectuals that believe that voted him in to say, hey, we're going to know what's going on now. All the public stuff's going to be cool. Blah blah. That's just not the way it really happens.
You know what the thing is that doesn't bother me. That's not something that even bothers me in the least. If it gets done, I don't care if he did it and no one knew about it until he came out with it. I really don't care.
John, this goes right along the lines. What should he be doing? The health care program. 2,000 pages, or, it's a big funny joke now how many pages it really is in the bill. They can't even agree on how many pages are in the bill.
So, Bill, what you're trying to tell me is you'd rather bad stuff happen and poor legislation go through and nothing happen, as long as you had the guy out there smiling and sitting in all these conferences and stuff. Guess what? I've said from day one, all that matters is the final product. I don't care if it got there because John Boehner, the leader of the Republicans...
John, let's talk about the final in other words, the end justifies the means. Okay, let's talk about the budget. The first budget Barack Obama signed had how many billion with a B in pure pork? Where he swore all the way through the election, that was all going to be gone. What was it? 60 billion, and everyone said, well, it's 60 billion, that's hard, that's peanuts, right? He said that was going to be gone. He put 60 billion in pork on the original budget. Line items had nothing to do with the budget of the United States of America. Boy, that's quite a way. That first big piece of legislation he signed. Why didn't he turn around and send it back to Congress and say, bullcrap, I told the world we're not going to do this? No.
I don't get the point here, Bill. Because
the outcome was not what was expected. It was not what the people that voted for him. He said he would do one thing, and he did the opposite.
Bill, I don't know of anybody who said, you know what, the reason I'm voting for Barack Obama is because he's taking away pork. I don't know anybody that voted for him on that alone. I didn't care at all. That was meant zero to me.
Oh, okay. So that doesn't count. That is basically the only big piece of legislation he's done since he's been in, and it doesn't count.
Bill, the budget has to come out every year.
He says no, take them off.
Comes out once a year. Something happens.
Carve that stuff off.
Bill,
he's the rock star. Tell him to carve that stuff off.
That's politics. This rock star stuff, all that, it seems to be just jealousy on the right. They wish they had a rock star. And of course, by saying rock star, it makes it seem him shallow and vapid, but he's not.
Barack Obama's not John. Every meeting that he's in with somebody, depending who he's with,